The silence of a private test at Misano was shattered today by a performance so statistically improbable that it has forced the entire WorldSBK paddock into an emergency reevaluation of the 2026 title race. As an observer on the ground, the atmosphere shifted the moment Toprak Razgatlıoğlu exited the pit lane. Usually, private tests are reserved for data logging and scrubbing in new components, but the Turkish rider treated the asphalt like a qualifying session from the opening minutes. Our sources inside the timing hut confirmed that Toprak wasn't just hitting peak speeds. He was displaying a level of consistency that suggests the BMW M1000RR has undergone a fundamental transformation. For months, the narrative surrounding this project was one of struggle and work in progress, but today that narrative was incinerated. We witnessed a rider who appeared to have found a symbiotic relationship with a machine that, until recently, was considered the most temperamental bike on the grid. The technical delegates from rival manufacturers were seen huddled over monitors, their faces reflecting a mix of confusion and genuine concern. When a rider of Toprak's caliber finds this much pace in a quiet session, it isn't just a fast lap, it is a declaration of technical superiority. The sheer volume of data being generated by the BMW garage suggests that the German manufacturer has finally cracked the code that has eluded them for a decade. The paddock is no longer asking if BMW can win, they are asking how anyone else can stop them. This was the moment the silent threat became a visible reality, leaving every other team scrambling for answers before the sun had even set over the Adriatic coast. Behind the stoic expression of Toprak Razgatlıoğlu lies the weight of a career-defining decision that many insiders originally labeled as a strategic mistake. To understand the gravity of today's revelation, we must look at the context of Toprak's departure from Yamaha. In the high-stakes world of professional motorcycle racing, moving from a proven championship-winning package to a manufacturer with a history of mid-pack finishes is often seen as professional suicide. For the first half of the season, the critics felt vindicated. We saw Toprak wrestling with a front end that lacked feel and a power delivery that seemed to fight his natural instincts. The paddock whispers suggested that the move was purely financial, a final payday for a rider who had reached his ceiling. However, what we saw today at Misano suggests a much deeper strategy was at play. Toprak didn't just move for the resources, he moved for the freedom to reshape a factory's entire engineering philosophy. Our investigative team has learned that the friction between Toprak's aggressive style and the BMW's rigid German engineering has finally reached a point of fusion. The frustration that marked his early season interviews has been replaced by a cold, calculated precision. He is no longer fighting the bike. He is utilizing its raw power in ways his predecessors never could. This wasn't a sudden stroke of luck. It was the result of a grueling, behind-the-scenes reconstruction of a rider's psyche and a machine's DNA. The gamble that was once mocked in the media center is now looking like a masterstroke of career management, placing Toprak in a position of unprecedented leverage as the championship enters its most critical phase. Rumors of a gray area, technical advantage began to circulate through the pit lane, as observers noted a radical change in the BMW's physical behavior under heavy braking. Technically speaking, what we are witnessing is the implementation of the Super Concession regulations, a system designed to help struggling manufacturers bridge the gap to the front. However, BMW appears to have utilized these rules with surgical precision. Our technical analyst on-site noted significant adjustments to the front-end geometry, specifically involving the rake and trail angles. For the uninitiated, these small measurements dictate how a bike feels when it is pushed to its absolute limit. In Toprak's case, the changes have allowed him to maintain his legendary late braking style without the typical front-end collapse that plagued the M1000RR in previous iterations. This isn't just about speed, it's about confidence. When a rider knows the front tire will hold while the rear is 2 feet off the ground, they can find lines that simply don't exist for other riders. We've received reports that the team has also experimented with weight distribution, moving the center of mass to provide more mechanical grip during the transition from braking to corner entry. It is a subtle, invisible evolution that doesn't show up on a highlight reel but is devastatingly effective on a stopwatch. The bike now sticks to the asphalt with a level of composure that was previously thought impossible for this specific chassis. While there are no flashy new wings or aero devices, the secret lies in the steel and aluminum of the frame itself. It is a masterpiece of hidden engineering that has effectively neutralized the advantage previously held by the Italian manufacturers, turning a wild stallion into a precision-guided missile. In the high-pressure environment of top-tier racing, information is the most valuable currency, and today, BMW effectively bankrupted the competition's confidence. The most fascinating aspect of this Misano test wasn't the lap times themselves, but the psychological fallout in the surrounding garages. As Toprak's sector times continued to turn purple on the screens, a visible tension began to permeate the paddock. We observed senior engineers from rival factory teams, men who have seen everything in this sport, standing in stunned silence as they watched the telemetry. In racing, you can prepare for a rival's upgrade if you can see it. If they have a new wing, you copy it. If they have a new exhaust, you analyze it. But when the speed comes from invisible refinements and a rider's renewed spirit, there is nothing to copy. This was a psychological ambush of the highest order. By choosing a private test to reveal this level of performance, BMW denied their rivals the opportunity to react in a public forum. There was no media fanfare, no PR spin, just the raw, undeniable reality of a stopwatch. Some teams were so rattled by the data that they reportedly cut their testing programs short, realizing that their current setup was obsolete in the face of this new benchmark. The mental game is often where championships are won or lost, and today Toprak took a massive lead. He didn't just beat them on the track, he got inside their heads. The narrative has shifted from "Can Toprak win a race?" to "Who can possibly stay within half a second of him?" This level of dominance creates a vacuum of doubt that can take months for a rival team to overcome. And in a season this tight, months are a luxury no one has. The final piece of the puzzle fell into place during the afternoon session, as Toprak completed a long-run simulation that defied the traditional laws of tire degradation. Historically, the BMW M1000RR has been described as a tire eater. It could be incredibly fast for 3 or 4 laps, but as the heat built up, the performance would fall off a cliff, leaving the rider defenseless in the final stages of a race. Our reporters focused specifically on this issue during the Misano test, monitoring Toprak's pace over a full 20-lap stint. What we discovered was staggering. His 18th lap was within 0.2 of a second of his 3rd lap. This indicates that the team has finally solved the tire enigma that has haunted the project since its inception. The secret appears to lie in the integration of the new chassis geometry with a highly sophisticated engine braking map. By smoothing out the deceleration phase, Toprak is putting significantly less stress on the carcass of the rear tire, allowing it to maintain its chemical grip for the duration of a full race distance. This is a nightmare scenario for the competition. In previous rounds, rivals could bank on waiting out the BMW, knowing they could strike in the final 5 laps. That safety net has now been removed. The data suggests that Toprak can now maintain a qualifying pace for the entire duration of a feature race. This breakthrough is perhaps more significant than the outright lap record, as it transforms Toprak from a podium contender into a race dominator. The sheer technical sophistication required to achieve this balance between extreme aggression and tire conservation is a testament to the thousands of man-hours spent in the Munich laboratory. The silent threat now has the endurance to back up its speed, making it the most complete package on the 2026 grid. As the sun set over the Misano pit lane, the sound of engines was replaced by the low hum of paddock rumors, suggesting that this sudden leap in performance has sparked internal tension among the rival manufacturers. In the world of professional motorsport, a sudden performance spike is rarely met with applause from the opposition. Instead, it is met with scrutiny, suspicion, and political maneuvering. Our sources have indicated that at least 2 rival manufacturers have already approached the technical directors to seek clarification on the specific concessions BMW is utilizing. There is a growing sense of unease that the rules designed to help a struggling team have perhaps been too effective. This is the classic political war that happens behind the scenes of every major championship. While Toprak celebrates with his crew, the lawyers and team principals are beginning a different kind of battle. Furthermore, we've heard whispers of frustration within the rival garages. Riders who were previously comfortable in their positions are now putting immense pressure on their own engineers to find an answer to the BMW problem. This creates a ripple effect of instability across the entire paddock. When one team finds a magic bullet, it forces everyone else into a frantic, high-cost development race that can break budgets and strain team relationships. We observed heated discussions outside the Ducati and Kawasaki hospitality units, a clear sign that the status quo has been shattered. The silent threat hasn't just impacted the lap times, it has destabilized the political landscape of the entire series. In the coming weeks, we expect to see a flurry of technical protests and clarification requests as the rest of the field tries to slow down the momentum that Toprak and BMW generated today. It is a game of high-stakes chess, and right now, the Turkish rider is 3 moves ahead of the board. To truly understand the magnitude of today's events, we must look past the rider and into the heart of the machine, where a fundamental shift in engineering DNA has taken place. Speaking anonymously, a high-ranking engineer from a rival squad admitted that the BMW they saw today is not the same bike that started the season. The transformation is comprehensive. It's not just about one part, it's about how every system from the electronics to the swing arm pivot is now working in total harmony. This level of system integration is the holy grail of motorcycle racing. Usually, when you gain stability in braking, you lose agility in the corners. When you gain top speed, you lose tire life. But at Misano, Toprak's bike seemed to defy these traditional trade-offs. It turned with the precision of a